Hello, everyone, and welcome to another wonderful episode of Tales from the Forlorn Dopes. I am your host, Cybersmily.
Greetings, programs. I am your co-host, Wisdom. Today we had a guest today, but they had to bow out at the last minute with some emergency stuff going on. So instead, we're going to review the new DLC from Artal Saurian for Cyberpunk, the Rocker Boy Index,
Yes.
as well as generally get caught up on the genre again and
Yep.
talk
Most
about the
definitely.
happenings in the franchise.
Yeah, it was disappointing.
Oh
So,
wow, you're loud.
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think I'm talking into the mic
Yeah, no,
for once.
it suddenly jumped right in. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so we were supposed to have James Portnow joining us. He is the co-creator of the new Cyberpunk Legends card game that is coming out. There is I don't know if it's a Kickstarter, but it's definitely a pre-order type of thing on their site, which is Night Crew Games. Go check it out. The reason why it is good for everyone is actually their card game actually takes place in 2012, which is a unique kind of take on the whole thing,
Yeah, I
because
mean,
it's even
original,
before the original game.
yeah, the old card game that came out in the mid 2000s, it started in 2013, but this is the first thing we've ever gotten that's acted as a prequel to the franchise.
Yeah, so I assume that expansion sets are going to be kind of incremental and getting into the later years. They definitely have a lot of opportunities with 2020 to kind of expand into that. Then they go into red and possibly, slowly incrementing into red, and then eventually, getting into 2077. But probably going to have to go through CDPR to get, licensing and understanding of how to connect with that. But I think that's on the horizon. Let's get the card game out and published. So they did post a video with Maximum Mike himself, Mr. Pondsmith, playing through the game. It has very interesting dynamics. It's a co-op card game, which I think a lot of games, card games, board games of recent are more co-op because it gets rid of that whole player versus player type of thing, which if you ever play Diplomacy, you'll know that you will kill your own friends because of that game, or at least lose them and never talk to them again because of how they screwed you over. But I think co-op games are definitely a nice aspect to games, at least board games and tabletop games in general, in that you're not all the players aren't adversarials, which is a lot of the board game mentality going back for centuries, right? From chess to Go to that whole system. So it definitely looks great. I want to say that they have the solo pack, nomads. Um, so I might be loud on your end because of Discord. Their
That's possible.
uh, wisdom, but
Yeah.
from the what is this? What am I using? Oh, OBS. My levels are normal. They're not going into even the red. So
Okay.
hopefully, if you guys are hearing us and you're out on Twitch, which doesn't look like there's too many of you, um, you could tell me whether or not my volume, my 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 voice is too loud. But yeah, so basically, the concept of the game is you have one central deck that does the gig, right, which is the job you're to do or accomplish, and then each player has their own role to play, which is, I believe, 30 to 40 cards, maybe less, in which you can use as kind of like a poker hand to play the game. Have you seen the video yet?
I've seen the video. I jumped on the pledge page. I haven't actually thrown any money yet, but I did want to get the regular updates.
Yeah,
It's
join their
it's
Discord. There's a lot of stuff coming out on their Discord, and
yeah.
they are on top of it.
Sadly, every time they send me an invite for the Discord, it says it's no longer available. I don't know what's going on with that. But yeah, no, the game looks really good. The art looks really good, which with a card game, like art is for me 90% of it. So
Yeah. Yeah, so the Discord is pretty active. I think because they've gotten a lot of buy-in, at least their initial broadcast, having a kind of a larger YouTube, Twitch, I don't know, content creator broadcasting it for them. They got a lot of exposure. So I think there's a lot of stuff coming in from CDPR, as well as what is it?
yes, CDPR threw out an announcement. R. Talsorian did, and they really went over on like announcing it on all the various social media platforms. Like I've seen their stuff come up on Discord. I've seen it come up on Facebook, on Reddit. So apparently they're in it to win it. They're going whole hog, and
yes, extra credit is the channel.
Yeah,
And extra credit, I didn't know this, but I actually watched a lot of their YouTube videos. They are not strictly cyberpunk based. They do other things about history and other kind of fun stuff. Facts.
yeah, they're not
might
even an
know.
RPG channel necessarily. It was actually kind of weird to see them promoting a card game, but they do a good job of it.
Yeah. So yeah, go check it out. Yeah, they do. They're kind of like a great channel to just watch various stuff, to learn stuff, tidbits and other stuff. They're not AI, so that's kind of good. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens in the future of AI. A lot of scary stuff happening in AI. I was watching a video about AI 2027, and the concept of super intelligence. So, speaking of cyberpunk, if you want to learn about, AI and the influence, read the paper AI 2027. Just the concept of the evolution of AI in the real world. Not to get you depressed, but yeah, it's an interesting topic. Anyways. Back to the card game. So yeah, the card game, I don't know the exact date it's launching. They are doing demos at Gen Con, so that's in August, so definitely check them out. We are going to connect with James. I think we're going to do a pre-record of the interview, so that way we can at least get him, hot and fresh, straight off the anvil, to talk about the game, talk to us about everything, and hopefully we'll go forward with that. And hopefully he enjoys our company and he'll be a regular guest, like like all the Jameses from our Telsurian.
Got lots of Jameses and Jays, and
Yeah. Well, I
we're
believe Jay
incorporating the
Gray.
J letter.
I think Jay Gray is actually James Gray. And Mike Pondsmith is like, I have too many James, because that's the one thing that Mike has talked about. It's like
Yeah, it's like my friends
there's
calling me D. Like,
there's
just
too
call
many
me Jay.
James, and so I'm gonna call you Jay. I'm gonna call you Jason or Jimmy, and however James T. Kirk, JT.
Reminds me of that Kids in the Hall sketch about these are the Daves I know, these are the Daves I know.
Yeah.
And just list a bunch of Daves. Same type thing.
Yeah. So what are
But
your
yeah,
initial observations of the game?
I I don't. I'm not a card game guy. Like every now and then, a card game will come along that really grabs me. A while back, like again, mid 2000s, there was a card game called Kung Fu Fighting, and that's probably my favorite party game of all time.
Hmm.
Um, but I didn't get any of the like. I picked up the original Netrunner
Yeah.
uh, specifically to use as net running rules. I've mentioned that before. But we use them so like people played Netrunners so sporadically that every single time we went to do it, we had to relearn the rules because we had forgotten about them in the 6 months since we played it last. Uh, I liked it. I liked doing it that way. I hated the collectible aspect of it, which means that I was never going to get a complete set of the cards.
So you just
Um,
needed to wait
I,
until Android came out, and you would have had all the cards.
yeah, but the Android thing doesn't work. You can't use it
Yeah.
for the Cyberpunk rules for the Netrunner.
True.
I've got the Android game. There was a lot of in that box for a card game. Let me tell you, uh, and it was pretty. The art was phenomenal. When the original, when the first Cyberpunk collectible card game came out, man, the art in on for those cards was amazing. But I guess behind the scenes, everything was just kind of a shit show. Uh, I never got into it when it was being put out, and then after it was put out, I was hoping maybe to find like a complete set somewhere because it's a all I wanted was like one of each card. It's not like I was looking to play it. I was just wanting to collect it for collection's sake. So I missed out on that one completely. Um, I'd still like to go back and get a set of those cards. Um,
Well, I have a set of the cards. I don't have my whole. I lost 4 sleeves of cards. Luckily,
ooh,
yeah. So, so back in the day, it was me taking all the individual cards and putting them into a book with sleeves and all that fun stuff.
yeah,
Well, sleeves meaning the pages, right? So if you ever worked with baseball
like
cards,
the
yeah,
six card pages or
yeah,
whatnot, or
nine
nine.
nine cards, I think was the 3 by 3. So I had those books were in a safe location. However, the sleeves, right, which were the box set boxes of 50 to 100 or 70 cards that you would keep in a box, those got
Sure, the ones you actually
trashed.
played with.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
got trashed by a flood. Um,
Oh,
yeah.
that's tragic.
So I have
Lost a bunch
individual
of cards.
cards, but I don't have enough cards to actually play the game. Unless I do, all uniques. But yeah, so back in the day when Netrunner CCG came out, I was one of the demo people, I guess, in the region in which I would go to various game stores and kind of set up events to play the games and promote the games. And I was provided like a bunch of booster packs from Wizards to distribute during my demos to get people into playing it. So that was a fun time. So I tried to get a lot of converts, which, back in the day, this was mid 90s. So every card game was everyone was just latching on, buying cards, even though they might not be successful or worth any money in the long run. But I was able to at least promote the game. And actually, I did a couple tournaments. I actually won a tournament, me and my buddy, and I have a signed copy of the Richard Garfield card, which I think is Brain Box, which is like a random, you roll a d6 and something random happens. So I have Richard Garfield's signature on one of my cards.
Nice.
Yeah. Don't know how much that's worth, but, it is what it is. Yeah, so I've never was able to acquire any of the Cyberpunk 2013, 2020 decks that came out in the early 2000s. So that card game
that's what I
was
was
like,
talking about.
yeah, that card game, never encountered it, never had a chance to it. I know there was another card game that was like unlicensed, kind of had to get sued to oblivion because of the nefarious things that they were doing. I know there was that card game, and then there was the other one that kind of never really took out.
2013, 2021. I thought that was the one that got sued into oblivion.
Oh, I thought there was one that was actually licensed from our Talsorian, and then there was one that wasn't. And,
well.
Yeah.
Then apparently I missed out on one altogether.
Yeah, so there's, again, that's might be, was it urban legend? Cyberpunk legend? I don't know. What is Cyberpunk legend? How does that tie back to there? Cyberpunk urban legend. Yeah, so I never got any of those cards around my area. So I never was able to acquire any of them, even though I think I did hear about it, and I asked my local game store, I was like, hey, because back then you did not have the internet, so you could not Google or find card games. You had to talk to your game store and be like, hey, I heard about this game. Can you look into and getting it?
I mean, we had the internet, but you couldn't. It wasn't used for buying shit back then. Like,
no,
it was just used for like personal sites and
yes, and porn.
Yeah, and porn. Lots of porn, lots of cat pictures, and really awful GeoCity sites about every subject known to man. But yeah, no, I think even Drive-Thru RPG was just getting started. And
were they in early 2000s?
They were just getting started. They didn't have a whole lot, but yeah, they were up and moving and finding their legs.
In any event, you couldn't buy cards. You couldn't, you had to actually go to your real retailer and tell them, I would like this. And it's like with Cyberpunk version 3, the Unspoken. What was the other term for Haster? The unspoken, the unspeakable. So in Cthulhu, there's Haster, and you're like,
I thought it was
the nameless one, the one who shall not be spoken of, or something like that.
Yeah.
so basically, V3 is turned into Haster, in which you're not supposed to speak of its name. But yeah, so V3, I remember hearing about it and constantly going to my retailer and being, hey, it's coming out, get me it. And I would be at that game store like every weekend. Hey, have you heard anything? Hey, have you heard anything? Have you heard anything? And
the only
those who dealt with V3 would understand the whole launch of Cyberpunk 2077, or even Red. It's like
the
patience.
The original Cyberpunk CCG from Social Games that had 3 different sets or seasons or whatever you want to call it. There was Cyberpunk 2013, and Cyberpunk 2020. I I am completely unaware of another set of trading cards
So Social Games was the one that got sued into oblivion? I thought they were kind of
they
licensed.
were the ones that were licensed.
I remember
I
hearing
can't imagine they went that long without a license. But they had a problem paying their artists. I know that.
yeah, I thought there was a CCG, and granted, this is like 15 years ago. I heard about it. It was they kind of did something without licensing, without anything. They just went off and did it. And I think back in the day there was kind of and again it might have been that our Talsorian was in hibernation at the time, so I'm sure a company probably thought, oh, if they're not around, I will publish this and take my chances. Well, their chances did not last long. Um, but yeah, I thought there was another one that was out there, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm not able to find anything about it. It's possible that they announced that they were doing it, and then our Talsorian shut them down completely. I don't know, but this is the first I'm hearing of it.
Yeah. The other thing with like the social games, is that what they were called?
Yeah,
Um, I've only heard about them within the past 5 years, kind of. I mean, I kind of remember them back in the day, hearing about a possible card game, but never seeing it, at least in that time, to fruition. But now it seems like, oh yeah, starter boxes and like booster packs, are flooding the market. I'm like, where have they been? I mean, was it like collectors just hoarding all of these fucking boxes and just keeping the the real market shut out, and that's why they weren't successful?
it's entirely possible. I mean, we're talking about 2003, so
Yeah, I mean early 2000s, which, with CCGs it was like all about, oh, what's the new game? God,
yeah, there
man,
were so many being released at the time that nobody could keep up with all that crap.
I know. It was a
Um,
crazy time. Like
yeah, it was like the
almost
Wild West collectible
every
card.
month there was a new CCG, and everyone was
Mhm.
like, "Oh, gotta buy all of it."
I mean, Wizard and Hero magazines were both still being printed, and every month there'd be some new collectible card game promo in there, and they just
Yeah,
end up in the garbage because who the fuck cared? But
yeah. So
uh,
I played Netrunner when it first came out, CCG. Of course, and the only reason why I got through Netrunner was because of Magic, well, and Cyberpunk. But the only other CCGs I really got into was BattleTech, which, of course, I'm a longtime fan of BattleTech. Prior to Cyberpunk, I was a BattleTech fan. So, Spellfire, which was the D&D attempt to get into CCGs, and that thing was just horrid. And the BattleTech CCG was pretty good. I enjoyed it. It kind of blended card game with the dice rolls, and it had I played a lot with a bunch of friends. The other game for CCG was Vampire the Masquerade, and I think that game for multiplayers was such an awesome CCG for multiplayers.
yeah, I really don't know much about CCGs at all. Netrunner was the only one I ever really tried to play. I never got into Magic the Gathering or any of that. My brother did for a while, but it just was never my thing. I was working at a comic book store when Magic first hit, and it was just such an instant fad thing that it kind of just soured me on the whole deal.
It was like,
Uh,
so that's a good thing, because as a drug dealer, you don't want to get
yeah,
high off of your own stash, right?
yeah, exactly.
So if you had gotten addicted, yeah, you would have been it would have been bad for you.
It would have been sad. Yeah.
but yeah, so I got into the CCG kind of craze at the time, just because it was easy, quick, and you didn't have to do any preparation. You just had a deck. You put out deck. Yeah, you could do some preparation, but it was, here's my deck. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna play it. But like Vampire, to me, was such a great game because at least the group I was playing with, and there was like 6 to 10 of us. Every Friday night, we would get together and play Masquerade, or sorry, Jihad, which was the CCG, and just playing through that game was just fun. You know, just having drinks, eating chips, snacking,
Yeah,
and
because I
socializing.
missed out. Everybody seemed to be having a real good time with stuff, and I was
Yeah,
just over there holding on to my role playing books and just
yeah.
like, wouldn't you rather play this?
I would if there was people running, but again, like I said, it was quick, easy, and there's no preparation.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so yeah, so that's card games. So we're looking forward to at least trying out Legends. See what it's all about. See, hopefully it's going to be success. I pray it's going to be a success. Any new Cyberpunk stuff that adds to the universe and continues
Yeah,
the property, I'm all
any
for.
bits of the franchise we definitely promote 100%.
And we're not getting paid, so
No,
these are we're just fanboys when it comes to any of
that is
this.
the truth. There's no compensation for us.
Yeah,
Uh,
we don't even get paid for the sites that we maintain.
yeah, no, we've been doing this out of love since 1996, and with the podcast, holy crap, have we been how long have we been doing this now?
80. So our 3 years was back in March. So we've been doing this for
Wow, really?
3+ years. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're on the
So far we're having a pretty good run.
87th or 88th episode, depending upon who's counting. According to Rob Mulligan, it's 87, but according to me, it's 88. There is a lost episode that Mr. Mulligan does not know about. So if any of you know the lost episode, by all means, try to go and find it. Kind of gives us a little bit of a mystery. Yeah.
Also, on the franchise front, Loki Battle Maps just got they Loki Battle Maps had already become the first third person tabletop franchisee when they released their books of Cyberpunk Battle Maps. But now they've got a full fledged adventure called Missing Marbles. I haven't read it, but from what I can see, it's pretty good. You can get it at ttrpg.
I will have to pick it up. You mentioned this right before the show. I'm like, what? What's going on?
I heard about it right before the show. Their maps are fantastic. Like they'll put out like preview maps on Reddit all the time, and they always just look amazing. So,
oh, those are the guys who are doing those?
yeah.
Oh, yes, Reddit. I am with Reddit. I've seen those battle maps drop constantly. I did not know that they.
I mean, there's other people that do them,
yeah.
but Loki's battle maps, I've seen them quite a bit, and I've been following them for a while, and
they're like
yeah,
the effects on the map are like. Wait,
yeah.
Is that real?
If you can, if you're in the market for some Cyberpunk battle maps, go ahead and pick up their books of 100 Cyberpunk battle maps. They've got like, I want to say 3 or 4 of them by now. But this Missing Marbles is their first adventure, and I mean, from what I can tell, it looks really good. I need to get my hands on a copy and read it, and maybe we'll do a review on that on a future show. But yeah, go out there and pick that up on Drive-Thru RPG.
Yeah, because when I was at Gen Con running for Art House Orion and their games, every table had the book of, I think it was the first book that local Loki Battle Maps put out. Every table had that book,
Yeah,
and you could like
an
throw it
amazing
out.
resource.
Yeah. So I'm familiar with their work, and it's great because they like fold out to kind of like, for a small table, they're great. You know, it's probably, I would say, 18 inches by like 32 inches of a battle map. All hex, which I'm not a fan of hex. I'm not, sorry, not
Well,
hex.
from what I can
Square,
tell,
grid.
they do them both. If you do the print on demand, you can choose whether to do them no grid, regular grid, or hex grid.
Yeah, I
it's been a while since
prefer
I've looked.
no grid or hex grid. Just because hex allows you to have a little more flexibility for direction. The square. I used to be a fan of graph hex square, yeah, grid type of format for maps, but yeah, in my older age, I think since 20 years ago, I was like, no, hex is so much better. Even when I was a BattleTech fan, I would still use grid when it came to like tabletops, and I should have learned earlier at an earlier age that hex is better. Or no
I
grid.
don't really one way or another. Even when it's gridded out, we just tend to like kind of wing it as far as distance goes.
No, you should care. It's either
no,
peanut butter or chocolate. Which one are you on?
You know, I'm gonna have both, and if I can't have both, I'm gonna go have a Kit Kat.
Wait, left or right?
But yeah, both. I eat them both at the same time.
You goddamn communist.
I am. I don't share that shit. Are you crazy? That was the most serious conversation I've ever had about a Kit Kat in my life.
These are the things that are important in life.
Yeah, no, you got to have your priorities.
Exactly. Left or right for a Kit Kat.
So, yeah, no. By all means, go to Drive-Thru RPG and pick up their stuff. Give them some money.
Yep.
Like we said, anything that grows the franchise, anything that keeps the franchise in the spotlight, any success the franchise can have, we're going to be thumbs up in the whole way.
So
that's
yeah. So media news, not too much. There hasn't been too much traction when it came to movies, TV series, or any of that stuff coming out. I'm still waiting for
the update on Cyberpunk 2077 that they keep talking about. That was
yeah. So that was supposed to come out on this week
26.
on the 26th, and
It got pushed
Paolo
forward.
said, I'm afraid, my loves, that you are not going to have that happen because it is not baked yet. So this was back on last Thursday. It should have came out. So it has not come out yet. It still
They
needs
put it
to
in
be
the oven without preheating it.
well, which to me tells me that there is going to be quite a bit of content or features being done if they are delaying it. So it's not going
If
to
they're
be
delaying it, if they're talking about it this much, there's going to be some content to it.
Yep, it's not
I
just
don't
bug
think,
fixes, as it were.
yeah, I don't think it's going to be. Obviously, it's not going to be anything along the lines of Phantom Liberty, but they might add some new jobs. They might add some new options. Flashlights would be awesome. I keep saying that. Nobody listens.
See, you got to get on the PC, man. Where was I seeing it? There was talk about console actually having mods, but I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, we talked about that the last episode.
Yeah,
I mean,
there was another thing for red mods. Supposedly
I can
with red
only
mods you can do Xbox and PlayStation, but I could be wrong on that whole thing.
I can only hope. I can pray. I can make sacrifices to the gods. But at the end of the day, all I can do is just wishfully think,
Right.
And wait. But yeah, we're still waiting to hear anything more about that. We don't know. They haven't announced when the actual date for the update is, so it might just come as a surprise. Wouldn't be the first time they've done stuff like that. So keep an eye on your update notifications,
Yes.
and keep paying attention to their site for any possible announcements.
Yeah, so hopefully something's going to come out. I know there's a lot of theory craft happening, and people are constantly like, "Oh, if they're going to publish this, I want this, and this." And okay, you should have asked that a year ago, not right now, because they've already worked through all that stuff.
Whatever work is going to be done has already been done. They're just like ironing out the edges at this point.
Yeah, the gaming community just, I think, needs to understand that, when they announce something, you're already too late to start requesting stuff.
Yeah, they're kind of spoiled, and
I got to step away
like,
real quick if you want to keep on talking.
They just don't understand how things happen in the video game industry. Hell, even people our age get lost in that sometimes. But we're very much keeping an eye on Cyberpunk 2077 and its updates. They're talking about the new animated series. Like, no details have really been released about that, other than it is in the works. There's no details about what studio it's from, if it's from Studio Trigger again, or if it's from somebody else. No story details, just that something is in the works, along with nobody's canceled the plans for a live action yet for a movie, so that's possibly still in the works. Dark Horse just finished up with their Trauma Team miniseries. As far as I know, they haven't announced what their next Cyberpunk series is going to be, or if there's even going to be one. Again, we can only hope. They've all been good so far. Actually, that's not true. They have announced that next year they will be officially publishing the prequel manga for Edgerunners that stars Rebecca and Pilar. I've seen the art from that. It looks really good. It's been published in Japan and a couple of other countries already. So we're very much looking forward to seeing that here. Let's see.
Hey, I'm back. Sorry. Pet emergency.
Yeah, no worries. Pets are important. We gotta keep an eye on the furry friends. I just filled them in on the anime and comic book news, and strictly for the franchise.
Strictly.
Yeah. Well, just the Dark Horse stuff.
So has there been a new
general genre stuff?
So with Dark Horse, have they announced anything new?
Just that like I was just telling the audience. Just that next year they should be publishing the English version of the manga
Oh,
prequel
yeah.
about Rebecca and Pilar. Um, and that the art for it looks fantastic. That it's already been published in Japan, and a couple of other countries have already gotten translations. Not sure. I'm not sure why America hasn't gotten it yet. Other than I think they're probably waiting for an event to announce it. Possibly when they announce the new animated series, or I don't know. I don't know what else would be big enough for them to wait to announce. But yeah, that's what's going on with that.
Nice.
But yeah, that takes care of franchise news. Genre news as a whole.
They have yet to pick a
The
Finn for Neuromancer.
Finn.
Finn.
Oh,
The Finn.
yeah. There's if they haven't let us know.
Yeah.
I'm just glad it's moving forward.
It is. It's definitely
It's
moving
been a
forward.
long time coming.
There is
It was
a 28-second trailer.
not gonna watch it. I don't want anything spoiled. I'll probably watch it
I'm watching it right now, and it's not spoiling anything.
I mean, it was starting to look like Neuromancer was the American version of Man of La Mancha.
with Terry Gilliam.
Yeah, like that movie, like 40 years that thing was in development with various studios. 3 different actors who were supposed to play the lead died as soon as they signed the contracts, pretty much. Now, nobody died with Neuromancer, but it did seem like it was a cursed production that it was never going to get made.
Not died yet.
Well, let's cross our fingers.
Cross your fingers to hope that someone dies, or cross your fingers that no one dies.
Cross our fingers that no one dies. We don't generally wish ill on many people. No. I'm not going to say none because there's some people out there, but not many of them, thankfully. The Lazarus series by Shinichiro Watanabe. No, I'm getting that name wrong. Anyway, from the guy who created Cowboy Bebop.
Yes, definitely go watch that. I think we talked about it last time.
It just finished up last week. The final episode came out. Wasn't as action-packed as I would hoped at the end. Like I was really hoping for a massive climax a la Cowboy Bebop or Samurai Champloo, but they also kind of did that Samurai Champloo and Cowboy Bebop thing where it just leaves you wanting more. And at least in this case, you might get more. I don't know what the story could possibly be, but like without spoilers, they left room for more. I'll just say that. Maybe at the very least we'll get something along the lines of the Cowboy Bebop movie Knocking on Heaven's Door, which was phenomenally good.
Yeah.
Other than that, yeah, there hasn't been a whole lot.
Yeah, not so far, but turn the corner. God only knows.
Yeah, I mean it's a lull. I mean it's been 2 weeks since we last talked about this stuff, so it's not like we have a backlog of projects to talk about.
Yeah. So let's get into the DLC and just talk about Rocker Boys. I figure we can probably get into some more Rocker Boy stuff. I know we talked a little bit about it when we were doing the review of the Rocker Boy book and probably live and direct, but we can get into it. Yeah, so... Right,
so the new
DLC.
The Rocker Boy Index. It's weird that I like this as much as I do, but I really like it.
So first off, kudos to Jay Gray for
Yeah,
I wouldn't say wasting the time, but I'm sure he had other things he could be doing. But to me, looking at this book looking not at this book, but the DLC, I'm like, I could spend 4 days doing exactly what he just did.
I mean, I could spend a month doing it. Like, he really got in depth on some of this stuff and tracked down. Like, okay, basically, what the Rocker Boy Index is it's a history of every band ever mentioned in any of the official supplements, going all the way back to 2013.
He did miss some, though. I have to admit.
I mean,
I didn't want to criticize him because I know how much hard work this was. But
like, he didn't miss anybody important. I'll say that.
Correct. So the two bands that I saw he did not mention were just like little blurbs, but they were little blurbs at the beginning of a book. So I'll give him that there wasn't too much into it, but again, I feel bad just calling it out on that.
I mean, here's the deal. Like, some of these, like, there's so many bands.
Yeah.
In the Rocker Boy Index. This is a 26-page document of maybe a paragraph's worth of description for most of these bands.
Less than a paragraph of description.
Yeah, I mean, some of these bands were just, like you said, they're just barely mentioned in the books. Like, though they would have gotten mentioned, like, just a little tagline somewhere, just a little throwaway. Oh, and we went and saw this band at the club. They get a write-up.
I think it was a little more than that. I think it was mention of at least one of the band's songs. Oh, well, so first off, let's put out a kudos to Dolan Pondsmith again, doing some fantastic artwork. I think
that the cover is an homage to Doug Anderson's original 2013 cover for Rocker Boy, and it's gorgeous. Like, it's just gorgeous.
And I think Dolan is slowly becoming, or at least getting into the expertise that a illustrator needs to get to. I mean, when we were talking with not Mike McDonald.
No, we still need
Mike
to talk
Jackson?
to Mike McDonald.
Mike Jackson.
Yes.
Yeah. Michael Jackson. No. Mike Jackson. When we were interviewing him and how he said how he was just kind of a bit of an amateur, and within 2 years of just pumping out work, getting to a level of expertise, and you definitely can see it with Dolan's work. Dolan is slowly, or not slowly, quickly making the strides to become an accomplished artist, which is great to see. Our next future guest probably can give Dolan some points, as well as any other artist some points.
Don't give it away.
Well, we can say that the person we're going to talk to is.
We can say it's a big fucking deal. That's what we'll say. Like,
well, and it's an artist, right? Who
it's an artist who worked for Artel Saurian, who we may have mentioned a few times, a couple of dozen times in our long search for him. Tentatively, he will be our guest next episode.
Yes.
We finally tracked him down.
Hopefully he won't cancel.
Yeah.
Because if they do, I'm going to get in my car and drive to where they live.
I mean, they're in the same state. So
exactly. And I'm going to bring some duct tape.
Let's not make any threats, though. But yeah.
bring some duct tape with me and a microphone and some recording equipment, and they will be answering questions,
Some
to say the
questions.
least.
We want to know all this nerd shit. We have to know the nerd shit. You have to tell us.
Yes. So yeah, so mostly Jake Ray. I think there was also special thanks to everyone who originally created a lot of the content over the years. And yeah, get into it, which is basically Jay Gray describing exactly how this DLC came about and the various rockers, uh, and indexing it. In my opinion, Cyberpunk at the time when it first came out in the early 90s, music was such a important facet of people's lives.
Yeah.
And as I
Like
get older,
it's
it's
hard.
not so much for me, but you can of course speak on
I
your
mean,
own.
it's hard to explain to today's generation where everything is just always available at your fingertips. Just how important and ever pervasive music was in the 90s. Um, like you'd buy albums. I'm going to sound like an old man ranting against the sky, but you'd buy albums and you'd curate your music collection. Uh, Everybody had their own soundtrack for their tabletop role playing games. Um, some people would just let albums play all the way through. Some people would only play, like I personally, I would only play instrumental albums or albums that were in a different language. So I had some stuff from Africa that I would play, some Tibetan throat music that I'd throw in every now and then, along with soundtracks, music scores. The score for the Last Temptation of Christ, Peter Gabriel's Passion was heavy on the playlist. As was oddly enough the soundtrack for Last of the Mohicans. Akira was constantly was a playlist staple for what we would run in the background of the games. But yeah, now with like Sirenscape and all that, like sound has become a very, very important part of running games, but music really isn't so much anymore. Like most of the people I play games with, even the ones who had like curated playlists in the 90s, they don't do that anymore. I guess it's become distracting,
Well,
which I fully understand because everything is a distraction for me. I'm a piece of candy. Uh,
piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy.
yeah,
Um,
squirrel.
yeah. So the one thing I'd like to reiterate, at least, and I've said this before, um, those who frequent Datafortress 2077, Derek did create a playlist.
2020.
Sorry,
Oh yeah, I did.
a play 2020. Datafortress2020.com. Um, Derek did curate a playlist, multiple playlists to play during, or to at least listen to during your Cyberpunk games. And I don't know who, and I forget his name, their name. Uh, Someone went out and actually created those playlists on YouTube that you can go and find and actually play, to actually listen to what Derek curated so many years ago
It's
for
funny because
the
I found out
community.
about it when I went there to do the exact same thing myself. It's like, I'm just going to make a YouTube playlist. Oh, wait, somebody's already done this for me.
Yeah, so
Um,
go out, take a look at it, and it's pretty
I'll
good.
be able to tell you who put up the playlist here in just a moment. Uh,
So music to Derek has always been important. For me, I've always preferred the
Guy
industrial.
named Kelly Rami,
Uh,
Eli-Rami.
so yes, so if you want to hear Derek's themes of various campaigns that he's ran, um,
It's okay. These musical playlists, they weren't actually things I ran during my game. They were things I ran during like character creation or when I was writing episodes, or just as general inspiration. Like I said, for the games, I actually used music that typically didn't have any lyrics. It was all instrumental. But these, like, there's 6 volumes of my like city campaign stuff, 6 volumes of my nomad campaign stuff, a volume each of like the military in Africa and the military in South America. Um, yeah, so it's a lot of music. It's a really, really strange and eclectic mix that
it is. It
you would never,
very is.
under normal circumstances, put these songs next to each other. But for me, they made sense.
Yeah,
But yeah,
for me, whenever I played Cyberpunk, it was all about industrial and industrial techno.
yeah, and that's a popular sentiment.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
like
I never
the
no
synthwave stuff,
one type
I
of
can't
music
get into.
ever. No one type of music ever spoke to me as being exclusively cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, heck, on those CDs, I've got a Billy Joel fucking song.
You
Um,
have Glenn Fry, man.
I do have Glenn Fry on the Nomad soundtrack because he sang Smuggler's Blues,
Yeah.
and that is a Nomad song. Um,
But like today's concept of cyberpunk music is often synthwave.
yeah,
I think at the time, at least the people I gamed with, synthwave was definitely not cyberpunk. It was all about brutality, which was the industrial
right. Well, I mean,
movement
synthwave wasn't
that
a
coming
thing
out.
in the night. Uh,
Well,
like, okay,
you had
originally,
80s.
if you read the books, originally, like Mike Pondsmith's version view of cyberpunk music seemed to be like glam metal. Uh, like I'm not saying that as an insult.
Yeah.
Glam metal was huge in the '80s.
Yeah. Well, early
Like
80s.
no, late '80s. We're talking like Bon
Gee,
Jovi. We're talking Guns N' Roses. We're talking
Poison.
Poison. I
See,
mean, these bands were
yeah.
huge.
See, I was thinking more of the or for Mike. I think he was more inspired by like the Dowls, um,
I think
David
thematically,
Bowie,
you're right.
Iggy
I think
Pop.
he was speaking of David Bowie, Iggy Pop, uh, that one really weird German dude. Well, there were lots of really weird German
Well,
dudes.
I was thinking like
Some
the New
Kraftwerk,
York Dolls,
yeah.
Kraftwerk. Uh,
Um,
who else was like the androgynous movement in the late 70s?
New wave. He
New
was
wave,
thinking very
yeah.
new. At least in terms of theme, he was thinking punk and new wave. But in terms of like what actually showed up in the book, like all the bands, they look like metal bands from the '90s, like that, or from the late '80s. They just did. They all had that, Guns N' Roses, Metallica, Poison. Not that,
Yeah, but the
I mean, they just had that look. Johnny Silverhand looks just like Bon Jovi, like he does.
and I don't think so. He wasn't that beautiful.
But yeah, no, and then in the '90s, you're right. It totally became like Nine Inch Nails and Ministry and Tool
Came
and like
FDM.
KMFDM. Like it became this industrial fronted music, and that's what was cyberpunk. I remember like we had very, like I said, we had very few lyrics based songs in our games, but when The Crow came out and we got that soundtrack,
Yeah, The
uh,
Crow.
After the Flesh was our battle music. Like that's
Well, the Crow soundtrack, I think, is one of the best soundtracks out there.
yeah, of all time.
Yeah.
And it was the basis for cyberpunk inspiration as far as music goes for the next decade. Yeah, I mean, it laid the groundwork for people having that view as this is cyberpunk music.
Well, it was
It's
more.
a shame that every sequel ever made to that has just been ass.
What are you talking about, man?
The sequels to that are worse than Highlander.
Yeah, but you have to understand that the word for God for children is mother.
Yeah, that's from the original. That's from the original graphic novel, though. Like that's a fantastic line. I love that line. That's in the original movie. Like I'm talking about the follow-ups, like City of Angels and the
Yeah,
TV show,
but even
and
City of
whatever that
Angels,
new one was.
City of Angels wasn't as bad as
I
Highlander 2.
walked out. It was worse.
No,
At least Highlander 2 was something different and had cool visuals.
but
City of Angels was just Crow 1 with a meth addict accent.
but still had a killer fucking soundtrack.
Eh,
I will fight you over
I
that.
didn't care for it. I mean, we can fight, but anyway. Yeah.
So you heard that live. Two old men
We're
are
gonna
gonna fight.
Um,
Two old fat men are gonna fight.
two old fat men are going to fight, and it's going to be over a really shitty movie from the late '90s.
You're gonna see a lot of slapping.
We have strayed so far from the topic. I don't
Well,
remember
we're
what the
talking
topic
about
was.
rocker boys, right? And music, and,
Yeah,
and the
we're talking about
influence of
rocker
music in cyberpunk.
Like the whole retro synthwave, that didn't start. I didn't start noticing that until the movie. It's always a movie soundtrack that leads these new.
Would that be AI or?
No, it was Drive, to be honest, which is a phenomenally good soundtrack. But it started for as far as the retro synthwave stuff being associated with cyberpunk. Somehow that started it. Like it wasn't until then that I started seeing people saying, "Hey, this is all cyberpunk music," and blah blah blah. And I forget who the really big names were at the beginning.
Yeah, I would never consider synthwave. But anyways,
I'm sure it is. I mean, it's new wave made today, and that's as valid as like. There's no such thing as cyberpunk music. I'm just going to say that there's no goddamn such thing.
Right.
Anybody who says it is so myopic that they don't know what they're talking about.
So in cyberpunk, right? We have, or at least there's been classification from God Almighty, Jay Gray, and His Holy Spirit. He has actually descended down to our earthly realms and has given us this tome of commandments on what genres of music there are in cyberpunk. So, the first thing that our Lord and Savior, Jay Gray, has come down to this earthly realm and declared that there are technically only 6 genres within the cyberpunk universe. 6 unique genres within the cyberpunk universe. And we can go over them. First, we have chipwave. which is a nostalgic evolution of tech noise using samples from early video games and electronica. So that sounds like a very hideous music that I would actually, I think, puncture my eardrums not to listen to.
It sounds like the 90s when GeoCity, when the internet was first coming around, where every site you went to had a frickin' MIDI song playing in the background that you could not turn off.
Yes. Next is Chromatic Rock, a blend of angry voice of punk, the power of metal, and electronic instruments of post-disco pop. I see Chromatic Rock being industrial, so Ministry, Nine Inch Nails, KMFDM.
Really?
Yeah, angry voice of punk, power of metal, and electronic instruments.
I mean, every time I hear Chromatic Rock, I focus on the disco part.
There's no disco. Post-disco. So you're focusing on disco. This is post-disco. So this is after disco. Do you remember back in the 77 when disco was declared dead? Right? So we're talking post-disco, after disco. So you're thinking of Blondie and that kind of era of
Blondie was
music.
punk.
Blondie was disco. It was a blend of disco, reggae, and punk.
CBGB.
It's just because she started at CBGBs does not mean she is punk.
Yeah, she's punk.
I'll fight
you over that one too. So is Talking
I will. I won. So Blondie is disco. She'll even say that she is disco. So go with that. Talking Heads is not disco. Blondie fed into disco because she saw from a punk point of view how she could get an audience from disco.
I mean, by that point, that token, Blondie is also hip hop.
I mean, yes, she was kind of like the whole with Rapture, right?
Yeah.
So she started doing the whole rap and presenting it, even before, long before Run DMC and Beastie Boys and
I mean,
Roxanne.
she had Jam Master Jay. Like
Yeah.
she name dropped Jam Master Jay. So
Well, no, she name drop Fab Five Freddy. She did not do James. Yeah,
you're right.
So.
Fab Five Freddy. It's just,
Anyways, so Chromatic Rock, angry voice of punk, power of metal, electronic instruments, post-disco is definitely industrial. It is nothing to do with disco. It's the death of disco. You have corporate pop.
Disco never died. So.
Yeah, fuck you. It died, and I wish it would stay dead. I wish it would stay dead. Corporate pop, and again, we're back in the 80s and 90s and 70s. There was a clique of either you listened to this type of music or you didn't, and if you listened to that other type of music, you were dead to me. The good old days. Where we weren't all one big homogenous collective. But anyways, so corporate
to the radio because it all played on the radio on the same damn station.
Yes,
everything.
Not always. You weren't listening to the college stations. Corporate pop.
No, I was listening to actual radio.
Corporate pop, music of any style, overly designed, synthesized, and extruded from corporate bean counters for the purpose of creating bland earworm for the big sale numbers.
Backstreet Boys and your and your Britney Spears.
Yeah, there's blonde. No,
of course, in the '90s, that would have been Debbie Gibson and New Kids on the Block.
Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi wasn't really corporate created.
He wasn't corporate created, but he was definitely corporate owned. by the time you hit the limelight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole
I'm not
listen,
a huge fan, but
when hair metal started taking off, corporations, and that was where Bon Jovi came in, and a bunch of hair metal bands, Poison, all those guys are corporate, owned
sure.
and publicized and groomed to be hair bands, versus the earlier genre, which was like Quiet Riot. Um, I'm not going to get into that, but every genre has that corporate, even rap and all that, right? They once corporations come in, they will just start churning it until they kill the genre. So next is cyber grunge, which I have yet to hear about, and I am looking forward to hearing about this sound. A twist of classical formula. Twist on the
I mean,
classic
it's just
formula.
grunge. It's Pearl
Cyber
Jam,
grunge
and
adds a hint of tech noise to the already crunchy blend of punk and heavy metal. I
yeah, it's just
assume,
grunge.
yeah, that's a shame. Grid Tech, a descendant of goth, industrial, and angst style. So Grid Tech sounds more industrial than chromatic rock. So I'll give you that. Grid Tech.
I mean, chromatic rock just screams like the name. The name chromatic rock just screams glam to me.
Yeah. And then we have tech noise, which is music generated at least partially by computers. So this is synthwave.
Yeah,
Tech
that's your
noise.
synth wave. That's your house music. That's your
I'm gonna have to say, where's the hip hop?
I mean,
Where's
let's yeah. Cyberpunk as a franchise has always, when it comes to music, they've always had a problem recognizing hip hop. They've
bullshit? I'm gonna call bullshit on that one. I mean, the Wild Side has the artist rendering Ice Cube in one of the images, and
sure.
I
I'm not saying that
believe
there's nothing there.
NWA is referenced in the book.
I'm not saying that it's not there at all. I'm saying that it's not there. Like for as humongous as hip hop was in the '90s,
Hip hop
for as
is
ever
today.
right, but this stuff was written in the '90s. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, but
Uh,
uh,
the lack of the minimalist representation of hip hop in the cyberpunk books always struck me as really odd. Seeing as how, like in the '90s, the closest you could get to the actual rocker boy ethos of musicians trying to enact change and political presence was in hip hop. You had
oh
groups
yeah,
like Public Enemy and uh, Tribe Called Quest and like the Goats.
yep.
Uh, like groups with a serious political message, and this was all the while all the rocker boys were just singing about like uh, you know beer and sex. The hip hop groups were at the time the most enlightened music of the age of like between 1990 and I'd say 1996. Hip hop, that was hip hop's golden age, where even the goofier bands like oh like Leaders of the New School or um Humpty Dumpty's band,
Humpty Dumpty's band, Digital
Shock G's band,
Underground.
Digital Underground, that's the one. Like Digital Underground, the Fat Boys. Like even then,
Well,
the lyrics were much more intricate. They were much more. It was much more than a catchphrase over and over again, or some guy mumbling into a microphone with no flow. It was all about the flow.
right.
I'm climbing on my old man sandbox again with that. Hip hop was definitely better back then.
But I mean, you had like the message from Grandmaster Flash.
Yeah.
As kind of like and this was early 80s, if not into the late
Yeah. The
70s.
message is what started the whole like. It was one of it was one of the originators of the hip hop sound of actual hip hop as
Yeah,
we
but it was
even it
also
now
a
with rap and
very,
all that. It
very
was a very
rocker
political
boy.
message,
Yeah.
very rocker boy, very. So for them to not get as much representation in the cyberpunk books, it always struck me as kind of odd. It's just one minor complaint. Um, I mean, in the '90s, the only band I can think of that was as politically active as, say, like Public Enemy. The only rock band I can think of was Rage Against the Machine. I mean, there were other bands that were politically active. Don't get me wrong, but not many of them let it infuse their music the way they did. And I think that's an
Well,
important distinction to make.
I think it depends on the genre, right? Like grunge was all about the political issues. I mean, the concept of like Pearl Jam, and they were I mean, it might have been a little subtle, but they were very political in the whole dynamics between the
They were,
working man
yeah,
and the
socially,
elites.
yeah, with Pearl Jam and Alice in Chains and Temple of the Dog and Soundgarden and like they were very much they were political. Don't get me wrong, and they had some songs that were very political. Pearl Jam's Jeremy, Temple of the Dog's Hungry,
Yeah, I think the
and Alice in Chains really.
when you, so when you get boiled down to music, right? Especially with like Rage Against the Machine. I mean, Rage Against the Machine was very in your face, uh, aggressive type of message versus like I think Pearl Jam pulled in kind of like a folk aspect of grunge that grunge kind of evolved, right? So grunge was a blend of punk, metal, folk, and just this weird conglomeration of all these different types of
Huh.
genres combining into one. Whereas, like, Rage Against the Machine was very LA punk metal, right?
I saw. I don't remember what I was watching, but something I saw recently. They were like grunge is blues for white folk.
There's a lot of blues for white folk, but yes, I can see that.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, uh, but yeah, so I think Rage Against the Machine was very aggressive with their music. And again, if you think of guerrilla radio in the, I mean, guerrilla radio for an album was all covers of hip hop songs,
Yeah.
and you just go through that litany of hip hop songs and and the people who originally sung them, yeah, and I think Rage Against the Machine, compared to other bands, Rage Against the Machine has always been about the politics, about the revolution, about the get up and fight for your rights, and continue to
Yeah, it was the
fight
natural
against the
progression of.
establishment, right? Which rocker boys, I think, have the concept of a rock boy in cyberpunk has always been that, but I think at least in the infancy, but I think there's also that aspect of what is really a rocker boy in the game itself now, right? So,
Yeah.
would you consider a rocker boy a WWE fighter?
I mean, I guess it depends on what message they're trying to put out and what change they're trying to enact to their platform. That's to me, that's the difference between a rocker and a rocker boy.
Yeah.
Um, like anybody can be an entertainer. Like But until they start using that entertainment to that platform to affect change, uh, to actually like influence others, even if the change is negative, even if their influence is like downright dastardly. Uh, until that happens, they're not really rockers. Um,
Well,
Even if they've got a giant cult following, until they get their cult following to do something, they're just rockers.
but
They become rocker boys when that influence they use that influence to affect some kind of change.
and which gets into the whole concept of the role of media, right? So the media is to present the information to the masses to, basically fight from the underground. And
Sure.
is a rocker boy and a media, is that a culmination that really needs to be joined together to really get the revolutionary concept going, or is a rocker boy part of the entertainment segment and the media is the facts segment, right? Or presenting of facts.
No, not in my opinion. In my opinion, the difference between a rocker and a media is a rocker is about the image he's putting forth and using that specific image, that specific persona to make that change. Whereas the media, whatever they're trying to do through information alone. Like while the media's bread and butter is reputation, it's the message, it's the information they're putting out that garners them that reputation.
But
Um,
so going
like Walter Cronkite or Dan Rather, they're not gonna. It's not like anybody's like following them around. Like I'm not gonna wear a Dan Rather T-shirt. Girls aren't throwing their panties up on stage for Walter Cronkite. That's not gonna happen. They got to where they are because they had, whether you agree with it or not, they had a reputation for putting out factual, as unbiased as possible, within the scope of their profession, information. They reported the news as well as they thought they could. And it was the news that was important. It was getting the facts out there. With a rocker boy, it's not about the news so much as about influence. They are using their position. They are using their own fame, to not only get a message out, but to get the message out as being from them.
sure.
Ego, like
Right. So to me, I think, I mean, when it comes to an altruistic point of view, from a role point of view, I don't think, to what you're saying and to what has been presented, is rocker boys aren't always altruistic. Whereas I think media tries to be. Right? So media,
I don't agree with that.
I don't think, again, in this day and age, media compared to what it was, right?
Yeah.
When the role was created,
When the role was created, media was a very different animal.
Was a different animal. Whereas rocker boys, right? So
News entertainment wasn't
Hitler,
a thing. It was a 4-hour news cycle.
Think about the rocker boy, the original rocker boy supplement. Hitler was a rocker boy. So
Hitler was any politician, any.
So to say that a rocker,
shames.
well, yeah, that's fine, but that to my point is that if that's a concept of influence and controlling people and getting them to do what I want them to do is not altruistic versus a media who is,
right.
I am putting a mirror to the elites and I'm showing them this is the truth, right? This is facts. This is truth. I mean, in this day and age, that has, well, I think rocker boys have influenced media and the news corporations more than the media has been able to prevent them from coming in. Because I think rocker boys are not necessarily out there for a revolutionary message. Sure, there are some that are out there, but I don't think that's necessarily true. Whereas I think the media role is to present the facts, the unbiased, unfiltered truth. When I say truth, I mean not your truth, I mean the physical.
In an ideal world, yeah.
Truth of
But that's
truth.
what I was saying is rocker boys are about ego. And it's their ego that's going to propel them to whatever they're doing.
Yeah. So I'd rather play. Now that I've talked this out, I'd rather play with media, because that is the type of person who would bring the truth, bring the light to the corruption, versus a rocker boy who
I mean, that's supposed
has
to, that's what it's supposed to be.
Higher chance of being influenced and buying or being bought by the big corporations. Anyways, back to the DLC. So we talked about the 6 genres. There's only 6, according to Saint J. Gray.
I don't know why you keep calling him that, but
well,
okay.
he is the representation of God, who is Maximum Mike on this world.
I'm okay. I love Cyberpunk. I do, and I have got a good enough sense of humor. But I don't refer to Maximum Mike as God. I don't refer to GMs as God.
Well, that's God mode, right? Is that what GM means?
I mean, sure, I guess if that's what you want to interpret it as, but
yeah. You have no sense of humor.
I know. I'm a big stick in the mud. Yeah, sure. I'm sorry. I don't know why I even got off on that tangent. I apologize.
No worries. So there's the 6 genres that Jagger presented in the supplement. So every band, and there's quite a lot, and I think he's added a little bit, either a paragraph or a couple sentences to each entry. So
I mean, if you actually read through the book, there are way more genres than that.
Yeah, there's punk, heavy metal.
I mean, I just came across filk. Which, if you're old enough to know what filk is, I'm sorry, we can take our pills together.
Do they have ska?
I've seen ska. I don't know if it's in this book or not, but yeah.
Doesn't look like he's God.
It would very much surprise me, but there we go.
Now, the question is, did he mention Zeph?
No.
No. Definitely not. It's a genre.
I mean, it's a genre. It's a genre that was brought to light and then
still out there, dude.
Flushed down the toilet by the same fucking band.
No, still out there.
I'm sure it's still out there, but it's not out there anywhere but South Africa.
Yeah. They're still touring and they're still making crap load of money, so
I don't know how. I don't know who's still giving them money. They're terrible, terrible people.
Anyways, so there is definitely some additional. I think the Christian rock was interesting. There's actually a few Christian rocks. 2 of them that were not mentioned in this book that were mentioned in Rocker Boy. So that was the one thing. Filk is Filk. Short Circuit Filk Runners.
Filk is science fiction folk music. It's generally comedy based songs about sci-fi series. Like it was
He's
big in
dead,
the
Jim.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
Filk.
It's life, Jim, but not as we know it. Not as we know it. Not as we know it. It's life, Jim,
We
but we
come in
know
peace,
it. Yeah.
shoot to kill, man. Yeah, like that. And there were a lot. Like there was an entire album of ElfQuest Filk that got put out.
Really?
It's not good. I own it. It's not good. Like most Filk was comedy based, but some were them really trying to like emulate whatever music. It's one of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost painful. But yeah, Filk is represented in this book, so it's not just six things in music. I would have personally liked to have seen more jazz and funk, representation, but that's a personal taste. Those are my jams, my Jimmy jams.
But yeah, so the supplement is great because, like I said, it gives a band, gives you kind of the genre, gives you a sentence or more about the group itself, the album, and it actually lists out some singles, which I'm sure Jay Gray spent countless hours.
Oh my God, he had to go through so
And
many
he
books.
puts years. He puts the year on it.
The only thing he doesn't do is tell you which book the stuff came from.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have to beat him up on that next time we talk to him. Where did you find this one band, this obscure band, and where did you find this one song? Because I looked throughout all these books and I couldn't find this one band with
Which
this
means
one
all
song.
bands I recognize, but I can't remember what book they were in, which sucks.
Yeah, so obviously his spreadsheet skills need to be improved, and he needs to add an additional column to trap the book and page and create a bibliography on this DLC, which I highly doubt he's gonna do.
Yeah, it sounds like we're talking shit, Jay. We're not. We
not,
we
no.
love the book. We love this DLC.
Yeah, it's something that Derek's gonna do. He's gonna.
I got way too much on my plate trying to track down all the creators of homebrew stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, so there is tons of bands that you can use, and there's new bands. So it's not only the 2013, the 2020 groups. There are red groups with recent messages, and you can always drop these into any bar scene and make them your own, right? So maybe the Perilous Future group is kind of like a playing clubs because they never hit it big, and they are happy with the 200 fans that show up in the local club that show up, and of course, you can always portray them as a little overweight, graying hair, or bald, needing more cyberware, but there are fans out there looking to celebrate them, and you can always put in they hire your group to help protect them from a crazy fan or someone who doesn't like their politics that they are continuing to preach from the 2020s.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, there's so much. And you know me, man. I love flavor. Like, flavor's my jam. I can't tell you how many Like half of what I'm tracking down, not half, but a large portion of what I'm tracking down are things like individual scream sheets that people have done because that stuff fascinates me. It's just things that are done for pure flavor. And this book is done for pure flavor. You're not going to find anything that's going to help your combat game in this book. You're just going to find flavor, background information that makes the world a more alive place.
Oh, right. There's actually 3 groups. So there's 2 Christian rock groups that I did not find in this book. And the other one was Billy Idol, IDLE, that was not mentioned in this book.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that Jay Gray did not put Billy Idol.
It might have been a legal thing, or like
it's not legal. I mean, there's idol, meaning IDOL, versus idol.
I know.
As long as he didn't put in, the original artist.
I think he should have just put the photograph of Billy Idol reading the Cyberpunk 2020 core rule book that exists out there. Like that should have just been. I love that image.
Like, what the hell is Cyberpunk? But yeah, so there's a bunch of images that have been added. Some of them, if you look at them, you will see references to some of the old supplements, specifically art that is in the various old books, as well as cover art of the old books, mostly cover art.
Yeah, there's a lot of cover art
images. One interior art that was added, but mostly it's cover art. Yeah, definitely check this DLC out. And like I said, you can go to this supplement, roll. How many pages are here? 18, 22 pages. Roll 346. And pick a page, pick a group, and use them. The DLC at the end does have a chart for kind of what songs are playing in a particular bar. So you can always do that. I would have liked to see more entries, but 2d6 worth of songs is not too bad. Would have liked seeing 2d10 or even more. But then again, if you've ever been on pop radio, they play the same song at least 2 to 3 times an hour. So, of course, you're going to be listening to a bunch of crap over and over again.
It's the truth.
Or you're going to walk in a bar with John what was it? Mulvey? Is that his name? The comedian? Mulvaney?
Mulvaney.
Mulvaney, yeah. You're going to hear, "What's up, pussycat? Whoa, whoa, whoa," for like 20 times in a row.
Yeah.
And then
some people,
it's not unusual to be loved by anyone. And then after that song, "What's up, pussycat? Whoa, whoa, whoa."
Yeah,
anyways, yeah.
Ad nauseum, repeat till you puke.
Exactly. So definitely pick up this DLC. Is there anything else we should talk about, like Rocker Boys? And I know it is a role that a lot of people like to play. From what I've seen from online and live plays, there's always at least one Rocker Boy. I've always hated the role because it's always been a pain to get them involved in my group. I have more of a chance of getting a netrunner involved in working in my group than a Rocker Boy, unless it's a Rocker Boy campaign.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. sadly, that's the real trick with Rocker Boys is I don't hate the role. I love what the role could be, like the potential for the role. Um, Sadly, it never lives up to that potential unless you're playing a full out Rocker Boy campaign because it's hard. Rocker Boys are all ego. They're all personality. They live their entire lives by being as absolutely recognizable as they can. And when you're playing a bunch of criminals, you don't want that. You don't want to be walking down the street with some guy who every teenage girl is going to run up to. Can I get your autograph? No. Plus, it's almost impossible to get players, or at least it was, on the same page as the GM as to what a rocker boy is, because everybody's got a wildly different take for some reason. It seems so obvious to me that it's spelled out that rocker boys are just people who have influence over other people. They don't have to be musicians. They don't have to be entertainers. They're just people with influence.
Well,
would
you consider Mickey and Mallory from Natural Born Killers to be rocker boys?
No, they didn't actually have any charisma per se. They had a public persona, but it wasn't like they personally did anything to curate that. They just made the news and had a couple of like brief news snippets. Of all the movies written by Tarantino, that is somehow my least favorite. I don't know why.
Written by Tarantino, directed by Oliver Stone.
Yeah, I didn't care for Natural Born Killers. I don't know why. I just don't.
Oh, my wife loves that movie.
Everybody I know loves that movie. I think it's because they were so utterly. I wanna be able to root, even if the protagonists of the story are bad guys. Like even if they're criminals, I want to be able to root for them on some level. Yeah. And I couldn't root for Mickey and Mallory. I just couldn't. They're unrepentant scum. It's why I don't like The Devil's Rejects or really any movie Rob Zombie has ever directed. As a musician, I love the dude, but as a director, he's freaking awful. Yeah. I don't like protagonists that have no redeeming qualities whatsoever.
Yeah. And in that movie, Rodney Dangerfield, wow. I was like, holy cow, you went dark. You went really dark.
Yeah, for his last on-screen, I think that's his last on-screen role. But yeah, he went so very dark. And
he pulled it off,
it's a really
which is scary.
Movie. Like, yeah, I should like it. And if they had given me anything to root for Mickey and Mallory about, I would have. I think I would have had much different, a much different opinion of the movie. I love the soundtrack for the movie. The soundtrack's freaking phenomenal. I love the performance of everybody but Woody Harrelson and Juliette Lewis, both actors whom I deeply love and respect.
See,
like in anything else they've ever done.
I thought Robbie Downey Jr. his acting was kind of the worst part of that movie.
I mean, it was, but we're talking Robert Downey Jr. at like at worst.
Yeah.
Like
at 100% coke level.
100% coke level. This is after the pickup artist failed. This is him trying desperately to
pre-jail
to maintain. And he's all like, Tarantino wants you. He's like, yes, Tarantino will rehabilitate my career. Oliver Stone, I can't wait to be in this. Oh, no, that didn't save him. No. He had to get clean before anybody wanted to work with him ever again.
Yeah.
But like everybody else in the movie, they did a phenomenal job. They were great.
Yeah.
I mean, as dark as Rodney Dangerfield's role was, it was the best acting he's ever done.
Anyways, so I will have to agree to disagree, but I think Natural Born Killers, Mickey and Mallory are rocker boys. If Hitler is a rocker boy, Mickey and Mallory were rocker boys.
Hitler used his influence, his charisma to influence others. What did Mickey and Mallory? What did they influence?
They
I would in fact
influence
argue
group.
that Billie Jean from Legend of Billie Jean was a rocker boy,
Yeah, definitely. I'll
but
give you
they
that.
weren't.
I'll give you that.
Okay. Now I need to go watch Legend of Billie Jean again. Um, yeah, I mean there are so many bands in this book.
Yeah.
Uh,
And a lot of them are referential to at least 80s to 2000 groups, right?
yeah,
So you have the Mighty Mighty Trio, which
that's the
is a
Boston. That's
ska,
the ska
yeah,
right there.
it is a ska band. So Mighty Mighty Bosstones was a ska band, or is a ska band. So you can always put those references into place, and that's why I
I
thought, why don't they have Billy Idol? IDLE, not IDOL.
sure. Um, so who's your favorite band that gets mentioned?
Ah, Slaughter Lambs, man.
Really?
Of
That's a
course.
badass name, and that
Well,
makes sense.
it's a Forlorn Hopes bar band, and we are the Forlorn Dopes. So,
You know
of
what
course, I'm
Slaughtered
going
Lambs
to
is
it.
a reference to?
Uh, no.
The Slaughtered Lamb is the bar from American Werewolf in.
Oh, right. Yes, I did not connect that. I thought there was another band. I was thinking, well, I was
I
thinking
mean, I'm
Lamb
sure
of
there's
God,
a
but
band out there that comes
it
close,
was
but
before Lamb of God.
my favorite's Sable and the Babies. I don't know why, but they give me that Susie
Bubblegum?
and the Banshees feel.
Oh, I thought.
Uh, no, yeah, and I guess maybe a cross between like Bubblegum Crisis or uh, damn it, um, Streets of Fire. That
Oh,
Streets of
yeah.
Fire, Bubblegum Crisis. Like in my head, that's what they sound like. But the chick is gonna be like the anagram of Susie and the Banshees, like Susie Sue. I don't know why. That's just how I've always seen it. And I, I was sure that they were from Eurosource Plus, but
They
I
are.
can't. They are okay. Okay.
Or
I
at
was trying to
least they're
steer
either
it
from
really
Eurosource Plus or from Rough Guide of the UK.
to the UK. They're from one of those two books.
Right.
Um,
Because that's the thing that Jay Gray, he only mentioned, well, he pulled from a lot of sources, but he only mentions Rocker Boy, Home of the Brave, and Rough Guide to the UK
yeah,
as
because those are the
sources.
ones that have the biggest sections on media.
Right. Well, you
Uh,
have Live and Direct, but again, I'm only calling him out
yeah,
on this. I would never. Well, I'll
sure.
call it out to him on his face if he comes and enjoys this. But yeah, yeah. So that's the DLC, and
Jay, we would love to have you back on the show just to discuss this
oh,
DLC
we
because
we can
we're fans.
definitely get him
Obviously,
back.
we've been ranting about it for an hour and a half.
I don't think we're gonna get him back next episode because we have somebody slated, and I don't think we're gonna have him on for the following episode because that's Gen Con territory. So
Yeah,
maybe we can get him on September. We'll see. Um,
maybe September, October. We'll try for something.
we'll
We've never given any of the DLCs that have come out this much attention. If that helps impress
well,
upon you out in the audience how much we like this DLC.
I well, it's also 26 pages, which is a hefty chunk
Yeah,
of
it's a for
DLC.
it's I think it's the largest DLC they put out so far.
Well, in my opinion, I also think it required a lot more work because he went
Much more work.
through a
Like this is,
lot of books. Whereas, like,
I have done similar like deep dives into the books to collate information. I've got a list of every like individual location that appears in all the books, at least of the 2020 books, that I plan on using eventually as I flesh out the whole my district guide stuff. I've also got every gang ever mentioned.
hmm.
So I understand how much work he had to do to get this level of information
Well,
and how
even with your
it was.
Ultra Chrome, you not only go through all
Well, Ultra
the
Chrome isn't mine.
oh,
I added the images. That's all I did to Ultra Chrome. Ultra Chrome belongs to Andrew James and Node 16. Like,
Node 16.
it's
Holy shit, that brings back
yeah,
days.
like those guys. Those guys were the original like deep dive experts.
Yeah,
Um,
because Ultra Chrome, they went into like, oh yeah, there was also this piece of cyberware in the uh,
yeah, the Cyberpunk
Cyberpunk
reference book,
2020 and Paranoia uh, supplements.
and Ultra Chrome is really just the tech sections of the Node 16 reference books. Like they've got all the rules listed out and other stuff. Like
Is Node
Andrew
6
James and his team, I, their
Node
names should still be sung in praise.
is Node 16 still around, or was that one of the
No,
ones that failed? Yeah,
I Node 16 went down before I ever took over Data Fortress,
right.
or at least it was in it had reached its comatose status. I think Andrew James was still keeping the reference book going for a couple years after that, and I've got him on my I've got him as a friend. We should have him on the show one day.
Yeah, well, just do the work, buddy. Do the work.
Yeah, no, all I got to do is reach out. I'll see if he wants to come on. I actually want to after we get all these Artalsorian people. I do want to start interviewing all the old webmasters.
Yeah.
Like I want to focus on that because I think they deserve as much love as
Yeah,
we can give them.
I've reached out to some of the people who are doing podcasts currently,
Yeah.
and try to get some of those people on as well. Maybe do like some type of roundtable. Um,
Oh,
Still in the works.
and speaking of, happy birthday to Gary Astleford, aka Ocelot of Mockery's site. It's no longer with us, but yesterday was his birthday. Just thought I'd throw that out there
Happy birthday, Gary.
before I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the DLC, Rocker Boys, and what we can present. Like I said, hopefully, hopefully, we will be talking to James Portnow. It might be a pre-recorded episode with the interview, but we are going to talk to him about Cyberpunk Legends, find out all the lowdown about it, possibly due dates. But like I said, he's doing demos at Gen Con. I think they're starting to ramp up production for it, so it's going to be fun talking to him. Next episode, 2 weeks from now, July 16th, we are going to be talking to an old Art Halsorian artist, illustrator. Going to try to catch up to what he's been doing of late. Hopefully get some advice for any artists out there on how to, I don't know, refine your craft.
Hopefully, find out what happened to his art so I can get
Hopefully
my hands on
find out what his art, if he still has it in a garage,
it. Even
or
just print something.
or in a basement that's starting to molder. I will drive up to
Yeah.
his house
I mean,
and bust in and take it from him. To
we've been
survive
looking
it.
forward to this interview for a long,
Yep.
long time.
And I know there's quite a few people who were looking to talk with this gentleman. So hopefully after we talk with him and get some insight, he might actually start coming out of not retirement, out of seclusion, as it were, from the gaming community. But we'll see. definitely look. I know both of us are looking forward to talking to him. After that, we're getting into August. So, beginning of August, there's going to be Gen Con, but we're going to see what we can do to line up some more interviews, talk with some people. Again, the pre recording of the Cyberpunk Legends we'll try to post probably in August. We'll broadcast it, but you know, we will be online taking any questions or comments during the live feed, as it were. So, from my point of view, there's not much happening on my site. Done a few fixes for my Cyberpunk Combat Zone army builder. Other than that, not too much from me. So yeah, you can check me out on my cybersmily.net site, where there is a lot of Cyberpunk 2020 and Cyberpunk Red, as well as Cyberpunk Combat Zone utilities to use and abuse as much as you want. You can also check me out on various Discords, various Cyberpunk Discords I am on. So if you do an @Cybersmily, good chance you're going to hit me. I'm also on the Cyberpunk 2020 Reddit, Cyberpunk Red Reddit, Cyberpunk Combat Zone Reddit. I just joined another Reddit for Cyberdecks, which is freaking crazy that there is a community of people out there creating cyberdecks, real life
cyberdecks
to
like
use.
Some of them throw out plans so you can create your own, but what they're doing, it's amazing,
freaking crazy, which makes me wonder, like, why wasn't there any rules on how to create a cyber deck? I know there was kind of like ways in which you can kind of artificially build one, but just having the rules for, like, okay, you need a cyber deck design tech score of this to get the DC to build it out, and this is how long it's going to take. So.
Yeah. These are the roles and the materials required to, you want it to have these bonuses.
But yes, on Reddit, Cyberdeck, Reddit, go check it out. Freaking crazy stuff. And
there's a couple of websites too.
And there's websites. It runs the gamut, right? Of like old school kind of looking cyberdecks to kind of new stuff. Whether it's like, hacked together, here's a screen, here's a keyboard, and that's it, with a bunch of wires running between them. But it's just freaking crazy stuff. Go and take a look at. And hopefully it inspires you to build your own cyber deck. Kind of wish I had the time for it, but yeah.
I wish I had the money, and I've got the time. I just wish I had the money. Some of those things look really expensive.
Well, I'm trying to think how much a pie would cost. I mean, all you really need to do is get an old phone for the display and a soldering kit with some wiring and a keyboard, kind of. And
I mean, but for it to look good, you need like a 3D printer and.
I don't know if all of them have 3D printers.
No, because some of them look like janky, like homemade stuff or Nomad stuff.
Right.
But for the stuff that looks like off the shelf factory build.
But again, you're a hacker, so who cares what it looks like as long as it's functional, right?
Yeah, true enough.
Anyway, so yeah, go check out Reddit. Crazy stuff. I'm also on Blue Sky.
Or check out the Cyber Deck Cafe. That's the best website for this stuff I've seen.
I'm also on Blue Sky. I'm trying to make hashtag Tales from the Forlorn Dopes available as a tag. So I want to go out and try to follow that tag. And I'm not 100% sure exactly how Blue Sky works. I'm an old man, damn it. But yeah, there's that. So yeah, Reddit, Blue Sky and Discord are kind of the only places and avenues I'm kind of on, other than my own site. So, off to you, Derek.
All right. I am Derek Bernier, aka Wisdom000. I run Datafortress2020.com, the largest, most comprehensive Cyberpunk 2020 site out there. Very soon, I will be adding a bunch of red material, as well as a bunch of Cyberpunk 2020 and Cyber Generation, even some V3 stuff to the site's archive. A lot of fan-based materials. I have gotten it down to, there's like 60 or so files I still have to identify the creator of, and then there's like 150 that I've identified the creator, but I'm still trying to like talk to them. I'm trying to locate them to get permission. But when that like as far as the things that I've already gotten, like found and gotten permission, we're talking over 600 files at this point.
Holy cow.
So it's going to be a massive update to the archive. To
Just
the point that I'm actually starting to worry if I am going to have enough room on my server for it.
So this is just as massive as 2.3?
Sure. Yes. Yes. We're talking several gigs worth of stuff. Anyway, that's what I'm doing with my site right now. I'll also be updating the hyperlinks page because that is way out of date, and most of those sites that are on there are gone now, which is super sad. You can contact me through the site. My email is listed there on the front page. Some of the other articles, like, it's still got old email addresses that I've never gotten the chance to clean up. But the main page, front page, is always going to have my current email. Or you can find me on Facebook. I'm on the Datafortress2020. I admin that. I am the owner. I'm on the Cyberpunk 2020 Facebook group, where I'm also an admin. And I'm a moderator on the Cybernation Uncensored Facebook group. I'm a member of a couple of others, but those are the ones that are easiest to find me. I'm on Reddit at most of the Cyberpunk sites there, or threads or groups or whatever you call them. I'm on Discord at an ever-growing number of Cyberpunk sites where, again, I mostly lurk, although if you've ever created anything, chances are high you're going to hear from me asking for permission to post your stuff on my
You're going to start hearing John Williams music in the background all of a sudden. Dun, dun.
If you have created something that you would like to see on the archive and I haven't gotten a hold of you yet, by all means, reach out to me. I would love to archive your stuff. I consider myself a historian of fan-based creations, fan-based material for Cyberpunk. Beyond that, I too am on Blue Sky at Wisdom 2020 BSK. Wisdom 000 is apparently already taken. There. Yeah.
Do we need to go hunting?
No, I'll just take what I can get. I'm an old man.
Yeah, but you're a Gen X. Yeah. They can't take away your name.
It's true. Anyway, those are where you can find us. By all means, reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. We love talking Cyberpunk. If you have any questions, complaints, criticisms, suggestions, or just information you want to share with us, by all means, reach out. We'd love to talk to you. Yeah. If you have ideas for future shows or leads on guests we might be interested in talking to,
or topics you want us to just ramble about,
topics you want us to cover, questions. As always, we'd like to thank Cybernation Uncensored for hosting us.
Rob
Mulligan. And please join us in 2 weeks where we're gonna have a really nice guest. I mean, it's special. Yes. We're really, really looking forward to it. And we will see you then.
That we will. Till next time, everyone. Have a great night.
Cybernation Ancestors.